two champions that many around the world were afraid to give him just because of how talented he was on the pick.
And that's why it has been a bit of a strange thing to watch him in the LPL.
Make his presence known on the bot side already, but Hope and Kyle, they're showing that respect.
They saw him.
He did. BLG comes around the corner with the frozen domain, gets the slow onto Hope, looking for the pillar as well. Barrier coming out from Hope, but it's just extinguished. Hope down, first blood BLG.
We absolutely needed to get the grubs after what they gave up on the bot side. You know, Bin is now so far ahead. 26 CS up, 500 gold is the leading down this Jax, and hasn't had to deal with it whatsoever. And he's nearly at the Triforce, and BLG is up here.
Dark Possession down. Flandre needs to walk away because Bin splashing in with the Grandmaster's Might. Subjugate as well. Flandre holding on to his splash till the last moment, doesn't get a chance to use it. BLG, now, they're definitely in the driver's seat.
I mean, great minds think alike, Medic. I was on the same wavelength with that one as Flandre goes through a bit of a trade and immediately regrets it.
Counter-Strike comes in, there's a TP as well. Kyle trying to come up to join this fight, and Bin begins to retreat. Shanks is going to teleport forward. Bin has no flash. Weaver's Wall will lock him on this side of the tower. Tarzan chasing forward as well. Bin with the counter-strike will get knocked up using that Cyclone. Bin still jumping away, but he's caught out. A Tempest finds him as Flandre secures the kill.
This is really nice. Now they can try to rush for first tower here up on that top side. They have the grubs. They're crushing through this tower. They should be able to win, but BLG also a lot of damage on that bot lane tower. They obviously have the Trundle. Not going to be able to get it either way, though. So first tower does go to AL. Yes, they should eventually lose the Dragon down on that bot side, and the tower will be matched. But if you can get this second turret as well, BLG very slow to respond. This one's dead too. AL making a massive play on the top side. That is going to be a huge gold swing.
You'll see the gold swing in their favor. About 300 gold ahead, but about 1,000 across the course of that play. BLG will get their second Dragon, and it was actually AL who decided we don't want to take the fight around second Dragon.
Really good just map play there. They'd gotten the push on the top lane, they had the push on the bot, and so they just collapsed from both sides to attack this mid lane. They were able to do a good amount of damage onto their opposition, along with chipping away at that tower. And it's not necessarily that they heavy committed. Ooh,
Shanks needs to be careful. He's going to get chased down here. The pillar out. The flash forward from Knight still has the Emperor's Divide here. Shanks looking for the movement speed, but just doesn't have enough. Field of Warfare over to BLG.
Just as I was
what the item legions are, you would be forced to go there. They're looking for Beishwan.
Kyle going in with the Temper Fate. There's Weaver's Wall as well. The chase onto Beishwan. He's going to start to walk away. Dodges the seismic shove. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Flandre forcing on away. Beishwan trying to trade with Kyle. The redemption will be enough to heal up the bot. He gets the shutdown with it. On-court out as well as AL are going to find two of this play.
That is huge, because that should get them the Dragon off the back of that as well. Not the cleanest execution as the Cosmic Binding missed, the Deadly Flourish missed, the Seismic Shove missed, but they chased him down, they get the kill, they kill the support. I want to see them go straight towards this Dragon. They aren't going for it just yet, though. They're just playing towards Otacon. This is definitely riskier, but we can see that BLG is going for the Dragon on the other side, so this should be theirs. It does mean, though, that BLG will move to Soul Point here very early on.
I felt like BLG was doing such a good job of suffocating AL. The fact that Bin was just holding that wave in the bot lane, they were playing around Knight safely on the top side of the map. I love that AL recognized, okay, we got to try and do something to try and break open the map a little bit more. They find a nice pick, and they quickly convert it into the close. Knight able to escape. BLG now have position on the mid lane. This should be a tower secured. Their second of the game. Nicely done, opens up. A good collapse comes through from AL, but it doesn't quite convert into a kill.
And now BLG can path up towards this top side, gate AL away from any of this jungle, and allow Bin the opportunity to take the third tower of the game, extending his gold lead to about 430. Mark anyone that comes around the back of the blue buff on with a good route. There's the counter-strike follow-up, and Kyle has to pop the heal. Temper Fate's going to land onto a couple, but the Drake's still very healthy. Seismic Shove only onto one, but it's on, and he's off! As AL begin to turn the fight in their favor, they're still looking for this Dragon. The curtains open. This Jhin wants an encore. Cyclone doesn't hold them in range. A counter-strike out by Bin as BLG retreats.
Whoa, that was a very tense fight. Both sides fighting for position. I think AL is respecting and doing their best to play around, but they're going to have to keep doing that because, as we talked about earlier, BLG in the straight up front to back, we still do give them the edge with their composition.
Yeah, and you can see
looking onto Kyle, doesn't have the flash, doesn't have the heal, and he is done for. Elk gets the kill, the curtains open as Hope tries to avenge his fallen support. Not have vision yet, but Tarzan and Hope are on their way. Their prying eyes will spy the fact that BLG have started the Baron. Flandre jumped on by Knight, though. The Emperor's Divide will knock him back, but meanwhile, on the top side of the fight, the Cyclone comes out. Beishwan has to flash out of the back of the pit as Elk tries to put some more damage down. Flandre, AL trying to gain some purchase in the river here. BLG holding them at bay. There's a pillar. On still looking for that flank. Kyle now marking him as BLG will take the 4v4. Kyle on up towards the top side, but there's the Pop Blossom. The mountain secured by Tarzan, and he'll get a kill off the back of it as well. BLG separated. The dive in from Knight, knocked back with the seismic shove. Shanks will fall. Beishwan almost follows. The curtains open. Hope wants an encore. He lands one onto Bin. Beishwan will die up towards the top side. Bin dashes away. Knight trying to open up, but he just doesn't have the damage. Rooted with a deadly flourish and taken out by anyone's legend. Calling their bluff. There's the Temper Fate onto Beishwan. The Baron's still at 10,000. On goes in, and On finds them all. The Emperor will find his mark as well. The Guardian Angel and Tarzan brings him back, but Knight's already dead. AL looking for a little bit more here as they could jump further forward. Bin trying to dive in. Shanks low. The seismic shove will connect, but Elk's on a killing spree. On trying to trade with Tarzan down towards the bottom side. Beishwan chasing out Hope towards the top. Flandre and Tarzan will find a double. Beishwan will try and get back in the pit. He doesn't have smite right now, but with the Maiden, AL might be able to keep him at bay.
A perfect wombo combo still wasn't enough to beat AL in the fight. Two members will stay alive to start the Baron off. Beishwan is hovering, threatening the steal.
Beishwan almost has flashback.
We'll have the flash. The smite still on cooldown. Tarzan sticking on the Baron right now as Beishwan tries to find a way back into this pit. Doesn't have vision on the Baron. Now does. Loses it again. He's dodging back and forth. 3,000 on the Baron. Beishwan kept at bay by Flandre, but has the flash. He jumps in. Looking for the chop, but it's Tarzan once again who wins.
The follow-up isn't there from Bin. Beishwan can't get there. Elk can't get there, and AL wins anyway.
Another Tempered Fate finds its mark. Elk the target though for AL as they chase him down. On with a Pop Blossom, only finds a single root, and that's two more to anyone's legend.
Pick after pick, AL with the Baron are sieging through these towers. They're collecting the standing gold. A root connects on the Knight.
Flashes away from the seismic shot. The Ghouls will chase him from that morning mist. And now BLG are wondering, how do we defend 35 seconds before Elk is back on the Rift? On has 20, seeing Grayscale as well. AL with this Baron push could just end the game.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Grubs, look at the York. They're crushing through these towers so fast.
Knight is here. Emperor's Divide available. The Dark Possessions try and keep him away. Bin trying to trade back in, but he just can't find a way into that backline. The counter-strike used only defensively as the first Nexus Tower falls. On his way, he's a minion. He'll get the root down. Tarzan dives in with the Cyclone. Bin trying to get on the backline as well with the counter-strike, but Bin is gone. Flandre sends him to the Shadow Isles. Knight jumps onto the backline. Shanks still surviving alongside
Elk's
Hope.
back.
And Knight is down. Elk is up, but he's the only one for his team right now as he tries to defend his Nexus, and AL won't give him a moment to breathe. Say the last rites for BLG. Flandre puts a shovel in his head and claims game one.
A deathless game. Out, executing them, creating a numbers advantage, and things like Braum do a good job of mitigating some of that engaged tool. I wonder if it's going to pan out the same way.
That interview that we saw, as this looks like it's going to be a fight.
Goes in with the flash shadowing strike. There's the barrier out from Hope, and the Unbreakable will keep him alive for now. Beishwan, concussive blows, locks him up. Doubles now on Hope. On needs to get away, but the concussive blows will get another stun, and On has no hope of surviving. Tarzan claims the second kill.
The LCK dominated first stand, crushed all comers. Shanks could be in some trouble.
Beishwan looking for mid here. Shanks should be able to sidestep everything. Beishwan, the Realm Warp coming out. He's used the Shroud of Darkness already, so he no longer has a spell shield. And Shanks is going to open up, and Knight goes between worlds. There's the fear, and Shanks is down. Now can Beishwan escape? The answers no, as Tarzan answers with a kill of his own.
Assisting BLG secure the first dragon of the game. I think that AL is a little too slow to respond to this objective, and even though they'll be in the area, it'll be a difficult steal.
Tarzan trying to get in there. There's the Cataclysm. Paranoia used. Tarzan has to flash away and will flag and drag to safety.
Hang on. So, I mean, they get the teleport out from Knight as well. Are they still fishing for a fight?
On's looking for it. He's going to flash forward onto Tarzan. Shadowing strike onto Shanks as well. There's the Equalizer going to chunk out Kyle. Unstoppable Onslaught in, though, as Flandre looks to make this fight continue. Realm Warp forward. Beishwan flashes away, but is culled where he stands. He's the bullets from Hope's gun. Shanks flashes in, and Elk is put in prison. 2 more kills.
Currently, Flandre, though, worried about a potential fight breaking out. He's actually going to TP up towards top, and they are going to bring back Shanks.
And Shanks teleporting top. I think Flandre is finishing his recall, but there's the Paranoia in with the equalizer to follow up the Magnus Storm from On's enough. And Hope is down. On underneath the tower will die as well. Will be a 1-for-1 exchange.
A nice collapse from BLG. Trading down. Knight is going to quickly go back to base, buy an upgrade, and has the TP ready to fight. Baseron with his ultimate is primed and ready to go.
Knight can teleport into the pit. Instead, he decides mid lane. Paranoia out. Tarzan gets the smite. Where are we going with the Paranoia? Immediately, we jump on towards Flandre. The Beer's going to come out as well, but the Unstoppable Onslaught will block that CC. Flandre running for the hills. Bin trying to chase True Shot Barrage out. Equalizer onto Flandre, gets the slow base one. Flashes forward, as does Bin, and they will bell at the Scion towards this blue buff. AL might want more of a fight, though. The Magnus Storm on 3, and in they go between worlds. They're sent. BLG find a massive fight.
Yeah, BLG there.
Shanks has finished the Rod of Ages on his way towards his Archangels. They're looking to try and crack the first tier 1 of the game. Bin now surpassing Gala for the 7th most all-time international kills at 503. There's the dive in with the Paranoia, and Shanks has to walk over a flaming carpet. Can't escape. Bin will take the kill.
Nocturne is so good at catching isolated targets, especially a Ryze that has no flash available. Just the moment that ulti is off cooldown. Oh, ulti comes through.
Glacial Fisher onto On. Magnus Storm coming out, but the shield from the Crashdown won't be enough to keep him alive. Teleport in as well by Bin as he tries to burn through Tarzan. The Flame Spitter doing a lot of work, but the Cataclysm combo is just too much. It's carnage for anyone's legend. A bloodbath as Hope claims the Quadra.
Hope reigns eternal for AL. A Quadra kill in the mid lane. Finally finds his moment there as BLG just go that hair too far. Bin TP's in. Kyle tags him with the Winter's Bite, and Hope punishes massively.
And it is a good punish from Kyle onto On as he's isolated in the mid lane. But when the TP comes through, BLG is saying, you know what, we do so much damage here, let's go for it. But the brawl
strong at this point. You know, you have Shanks on his Archangels fully completed. Now he's going to be a lot harder to burst down as well. And this is kind of the part of the game where I was getting very concerned for BLG's comp, even if they were on more even keel.
So you highlighted the bad news for BLG. The good news is there's only one carry that has all the gold. So if they're able to catch Hope, there may still be hope for BLG.
In the actual fight. So they're just going to continue to force.
Anyone's Legend could look for the Archon. There's no Paranoia up. There's no Between Worlds. And they're going to start it up. Bin there. Does have the equalizer. Obviously, Atakan reducing your magic resist and your armor, the more damage you take from it. Knight has teleport. He's going back to base right now, looking for that second completed item. On stepping forward, has the flash, has the Magnus Storm. AL still on the Atakan right now as Flandre is on the front line, and Flandre is snuffed out. AL now trying to fight a 4v5. BLG can look for more. The smite comes out. It's secured. AL will walk away with the Atakan, but will BLG allow them to escape? Hope the first target as BLG are looking for the light at the end of the tunnel, and that means killing off Hope. The heal will get him to safety, and BLG won't be able to find much more.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, still great there for AL. Yes, they do lose one, but Flandre buys so much time. He just kind of walks forward and creates that space with the zombie form. And as a result, his team does get the Otacon. They're trying to stop the bases, though. This is well done by BLG. They don't want to allow them to reset.
The calling out into the Cataclysm, Magnus Storm out by On, but now Knight's tanking up the towers, and that's not where he wants to be. AL pounces, BLG agreed.
Return to the base. They are punished once more. They'll even get a tower off the back of it.
On 2 levels down on Kyle on this rel. Knight forced behind here as Tarzan jumps forward. Knight able to go across the veil and escape. On with a flash shadowing strike, but the dash away immediately from Hope as he continues to reign in this game. BLG look for the engage, but they just couldn't find it.
AL have Hope and BLG have none. They're going for the Baron here. They're trying to put the nail in the coffin.
And now BLG, perhaps this is the moment. You've got no equalizer. You have the Between Worlds from Knight. No Paranoia as AL still stick on the Baron. Flandre on the front line taken down. The Baron jumped off by AL as they look for more of a fight. They'll kill off base one, and now with the jungler dead, they'll turn their eyes back to the big purple worm.
Flandre gives up his life, but he keeps the 2 remaining members of BLG away from the pit, and AL get 2 of their own. The Baron is going to be secured. A desperate TP.
It's Bin trying to look for a flank position here. No equalizer for him. No smite as well. Obviously, he's just a Rumble, and now he's spotted. And the Rumble in the jungle doesn't survive for long. AL will gun him down.
AL get themselves another pick. Gifted an ultimate. We didn't see the Aurora ultimate, and it's the fact that he was able to react so quickly and he didn't even have to use a summoner spell to do it.
Exactly. The fact that he reacted that quickly also meant most of the equalizer just missed. It's answered by the lock and it's answered by the heal from Kael. They didn't really get much done with that, and now it is Baron, his 6.6k gold lead. It is Ocean Soul point. It is AL on the precipice of pushing us to a match point.
And getting towards those luxury items as well. The Hex Drinker on Hope, you talked about a bit of defense for him. It's just going to make it so much harder for BLG. They're looking with the paranoia. One waiting around the Wolf Camp, but On is caught down towards the bottom side, and On is suffocated out of the game. BLG thought mid lane was the prio, but AL had other ideas.
AL will continue their siege on the bot lane. They don't have much of a minion wave to play with. The Rumble ultimate and the Ezreal ultimate going to be used to clear out the wave. This will slow AL down, but it will not stop them.
Shanks is a Gatling gun of destruction right now. Being forced away with the overload. There's the Realm Warp to follow up. And Hope will kill his enemy man. It's hunting season, and Elk is on the menu. BLG lose 2 more, as now they have to defend. On back up, but AL are pushing in for the win.
And Hope is just destroying them this game. 13-1-3, legendary Lucian performance.
BLG will try and defend. Knight forced away. Kai out there with the Unbreakable and still hitting onto Knight with the Winter's Bite. Decimating smash under the tower. BLG try as they might, they just can't withstand the storm that's anyone's legend. Now sitting on match point.
But Annie, Vi, Gwen, Blitzcrank, all going to be kind of trying to pile in there, catch out this Varus. And on the Renata is built to defend that dive.
But you have to push Kyle. He is posturing in a way where he is fishing for a hook. The damage is very serious. I'm a little bit worried for this BLG bot lane. There's the hook.
The hook on has to flash.
Yep, that's why I was worried.
Meanwhile in the mid lane, Shanks is just dead. One with a great gank. 3 camps
I think
into...
it has been truly incredible to see what he has been able to do. As Shanks in trouble.
Knight has the stun proc. Knight, oh, so close with the auto. Shanks disintegrates the Knight. Burnt alive in his...
from AL.
I'm honestly surprised. I was expecting Knight to just fully ult and commit to that play. Flandre, now the target of a dive.
No impale for Beishwan, but no flash for Flandre. Does have the Ignite, will dash across with skip and slash. Needle works on, will take him down, but the bailout will bring him back. Meanwhile, on the bot side, we see a great dive onto Bin. AL answer back with a kill of their own, and On didn't come back to life.
Yeah, well played. Tarzan walks away with a stolen red buff as Beishwan secures the grubs on the top side of the map. But AL being proactive on the map, it really did feel like, based on how the laning phase was going, that things were just, oh, hang on a minute, Bin.
Bin jumping in onto Flandre here, puts down the grand challenge, and Beishwan's there to answer it. Flandre, no flash, no hope of surviving. Bin finds his vital.
This time it was matched, but not by the teleport. That give Bin a bit of an advantage, but he is potentially caught out.
Pops the riposte, has the flash, will flash and then bolt his way away, but the hook from Kael finds his man, and now the chase continues. Hope opens up with the boomerang blades.
This will be the first dragon of the game. Earlier, Azel talked about how AL was a super grubs priority team, but they abandoned it in order to make sure they could make that effective dive onto Bin. He finds himself with a 1-2 scoreline, but still up 400 gold against Flandre.
Does have that gold lead, but in trouble is Knight.
Knight has to try and jump away with the perfect execution and will manage to escape. Has that R2 now, but no real way to use it. Dashes back to the safety of his tower. H1 on an Elk here to try and protect. Ishtar's impact coming out. Good ultimate from Kael to stop the channel, but the Impale cannot be stopped. Kael pulled back and taken out by Elk.
Dying so that his mid lane...
anything basically and ricochet through, so I feel like AL are set up for success.
On has the hostile takeover and he'll use it immediately. Ishtar's impact onto Tarzan, trying to use the shield to survive, but the cease and desist only going on to Elk won't be enough. Elk claims his 3rd kill of the game, as Shanks will be able to secure the Scuttle Crab towards the top side. Beishwan still chasing, flashing forward, and pulls Shanks back to the waiting arms of Knight. Shanks has to flash away, dodges the Impale, but Knight's on the chase. A perfect execution might be enough. Knight has to flash the wall, The chase continues. Kyle here once again to defend his mid lane. Exhaust Beishuan. Hope looking to open up. The stun from Shanks on across the wall won't have enough with the loyalty program. And Shanks will smoke Beishuan.
It cooldown of Shanks' Q that would have finished him off. Bin now supported by his team.
On the hunt coming out from Hope as they look to turn onto Beishuan. He's caught up. The needle works out from Flandre. And Beishuan just went too deep to flash away from On. A rocket grab about to find him as AL find another kill.
Feels like a story of the series. A step too far by Beishuan. He overextends and AL are quick to collapse. Both these teams are ready to skirmish. And this time around, it's AL that get the better of the fight.
Tarzan having to flash the Chain of Corruption, turns it back around onto Elk, has that cease and desist and has his team collapsing, but is the shield enough? Meanwhile, Hope and On fighting down towards the bottom side. Shanks comes in with the Tibbers and will kill off Elk. On able to retreat. Bin trying to get onto Shanks, but Shanks uses the blast cone wisely to get himself over the wall.
Really well played there. Tarzan realizes, you know what, I can't get out from this situation. I just need to buy enough time for my mid laner to get over here to knock down Elk. As Elk really does feel like the hope right now. We talk so much about Bin, we talk so much about Knight, but Elk is the one here playing this on-hit Varus and has the 4 early kills.
Oh, a great repulse by Bin.
The idea there being that the silence comes through. Ooh, Flandre now the one.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Flandre gets out of this one. He's already used the skip and slash. There's the impale follow-up. Knight gets his second, and BLG continue to punch back.
BLG do punch back, but again, it's the towers now. So we saw them get that tower top side low. Flandre finished that off. That's first tower. That was Boots. Now they get another tower on the other side of the map. AL are constantly pushing. So even though BLG are finding picks, are finding fights, it's always at the cost of something else. And it feels like BLG should be the ones ahead in gold, but it's AL with the over 1K gold lead here. And quietly, Sivert getting very strong.
I mean, if BLG could have gotten this extra dragon, at the very least they could have bought a little bit more time, relied on the fact that they have these strong side lanes, but AL put a lot of focus on securing these outer towers, and that's where a lot of this additional gold is coming from. The good news for BLG, though, is Knight getting some solo time on the top side of the map. He will secure a tower for himself. You can see that with that first item completed, moving away from the rocket belt and going for a little bit more burst damage, that assassination tool that is super valuable in those 1v1s and on the side lane. Flandre trying to defend the tower.
BLG are going to collapse, though. Ishtal's impact will get Flandre into the wall. Hope popping the on the hunt to try and get Flandre out. There's a Chain of Corruption follow-up. TP coming in by Bin as they turn all their attention onto Flandre. Bin will take one, put into the bailout, but won't be able to be revived. And now the chase continues for anyone's legend. Beishuan running for the hills. Knight and Elk, can you escape the clutches of Tarzan? Good flash away, cease and desist. Available, though, for the buys. They continue to chase forward. Hope flashes in, and Tarzan lives. A double for Hope in the end. AL clean up the fight.
BLG sent 5 top, but it is AL standing strong here, playing out the fight incredibly well. Hope was just cooking them on that one. BLG now so far behind off of this fight.
You hit the nail on the head as hell. Hope's positioning was fantastic. He was in a 2 versus 5 and he threw the ultimate out, not as a defensive measure, but to be ready for the arrival of his team to say, we are ready to turn this fight around. BLG committed everything to getting that pick onto Flandre, but it cost them so much.
Beishuan going forward here. Hope once again putting the damage down. Impale was dodged, and the bailout just gives him time to watch him die. Shanks now unstoppable, 5-1 on this Annie.
The spent flash just adding insult to injury there as Beishuan flashed out with that bailout. But the disintegrate followed, knocked him down, and that is a big...
Still, of course, the LCK to work through here. It's a grudge match for the LPL. Have been on the losing side of that too many times in the last few years. And their hopes seem to rest now on anyone's legend.
I will say that if AL do make it through this series, they will be a new challenger to the many LPL teams that have faced
in the
T1.
mid lane, Flandre is not. He's pushing out through bot.
And you can feel the desperation sinking in a little bit when you're spending flash ult to hopefully get a pick on a Blitzcrank. And he just has the perfect McHale's.
There's a hook onto On. Hope opens up and will take down On. Tarzan jumping forward as well. Ishtal's impact will lock him against the wall, the Impale as well. And Tarzan will fall. Flandre coming in, and there's no one protecting the back line. Knight has to dash away, but Shanks now dominating. Elk snipped away by Flandre. Bin trying to do anything he can to survive. Love the positioning here from On, waiting to see if someone oversteps. TP behind, there's the handshake. Beishwan looking for the chase here onto Kyle. Good static build will stop the channel. Knight trying to get in from the side. Tarzan shadowing Bin, marking him, making sure he can't get in. The chain of corruption, and Bin is deleted. On next up here for anyone's legend. They'll find two. It's a bloodbath so far. BLG are cooked as AL clean them up. The flash forward from Shanks will find the stun, and the Knight must bow to Shanks. Elk chased away. Nothing he can do. Shattered and bruised. BLG can...
They set up for a collapse onto Kyle, but it ends in disaster.
Yeah, and Hope had base. That's why he was late to the fight, but he shows up with the third item, the Infinity Edge completed, and you knew as soon as he arrived, it was curtains for BLG. They try to find a pick there.
Well, it just becomes a mountainous, a monstrous task now for BLG.
Tarzan looking at a faded rematch against T1. The opportunity to get his revenge as AL take their second dragon of the game.
The Sivert feels like he has barely stepped a foot wrong, as this duo have been absolutely incredible.
Damage percentage, just incredible. The ult goes in.
Look for the cease and desist, and immediately they jump onto Beishwan. No real escape for him. Meanwhile, Hope has been caught by On. Knight gets him! A grand in the pocket of Knight. He's found his payday, but can BLG find the fight? Tarzan gets one in response, but Knight answers with another. Shanks is down as Bin will snip him. Flandre trying to fight the 2v1, but Elk still stands! Somehow, from somewhere, BLG find the fight!
BLG are not down and out just yet. An impressive team fight comes through. They close the gold gap just like that, and they're setting their sights on the Baron.
They can do it. They can absolutely do it. It's an on-hit Varus here. Knight just needs to tank it up, and they will eventually be able to knock this down. No one's going to be respawning in time, and Hope this time does get caught on the way out. Actually, can they? This is getting a bit risky.
Knight jumping back in. Doesn't have the Riftmaker for any of that extra healing. Elk can now tank it, and they should be able to get it with those blighted quiver stacks. Knight almost dies. Elk secures it for BLG. We'll be on tread through BLG. They've started up the Drake, looking for their second of the game, and anyone's legend are not answering the call. Instead, they'll clear out their own jungle. They'll make sure they have the mid lane prio. Baron has fallen off. AL actually having
but Shanks could be in trouble.
Shanks jumped on by Beishwan, puts the Tibbers down, gets the stun. Knight with the chase. Beishwan, the Impale going wide. Tarzan down to half HP, but the Storm Surge just assassinates the Annie. Shanks down now as AL have to defend a spore.
It's an easy execution as BLG find the lone target in a side lane. The damage from Knight was lethal as the Baron is begun.
IL's looking for that hook. Gets it onto Beishwan. The static field down as well as Beishwan tries to heal up with that shield, but he just can't. Hope begins to open up. Hostile takeover coming out. Vault breaker away by Tarzan. The needle work from Flandre just for the slow.
But the perfect positioning by Kyle there. He hits the hook. He stops the Baron, and an instant McHale's there on Flandre as he gets hit by the hostile takeover. Beishwan lost track of the fact that he could have got hit by that angle, and now Kyle's looking.
Kyle flashes forward, doesn't land the hook. The tower falls as the bailout on Bin would bring him back if he did fall. Has that G8 on his shoulders. AL able to defend. No further push coming out from BLG. The Drake up in 50 seconds.
That's just disastrous, though. Baron. For BLG, losing your jungler there, exactly, because now they can start the counter Baron. Your Beishwan just needed to stay on the other side of the Baron, not allow Kyle to get that angle, but now it is AL here on the Baron, and it's a TP coming in from Bin. They're looking to contest.
It all comes down to this. You have to feel every hope and every wish for BLG to take it into the lower bracket finals. The arrows are landing. Kyle down to half HP. Knight pops a stopwatch, but he's basically got nothing. Still goes in with the perfect execution, manages to get a kill. The Baron over to Tarzan. On's going to get shot down. It's Bin and Knight, the last two standing. Tarzan with the GA will be resurrected. Shanks on the chase, the needles for the slow. Bin trying to get away with that. The Baron for anyone's legend. The Red Bull Baron power play currently sitting at 3K. We saw BLG get a Baron and delay the game, only got about 2K out of it. AL will want a lot more. Flandre is answering the wave on the top side, now has his Seeker's Arm Guard complete. 4 items as well on Shanks.
See if he wants to go back for a reset. They're looking for Flandre.
The challenge down onto Flandre, immediately dashes in. Flandre will skip and slash across the wall. Hope trying to position well here. BLG will force Flandre down to half HP. He does have the TP to rejoin the fight. But BLG showing, if they're given a second with that Gwen, she can be deleted.
And that was incredibly bold there from
AL on Soul Point, but not setting up around it at all.
Bin could just solo it though. AL are very heavily committed towards the top side of the map, so we'll see if Bin wants to go over to it or if he's too worried about a potential engage here.
He's gonna go, there's the on the hunt, immediately Bolt breaking forward, there's a hook back as well, and On is down before he can pop the hostile takeover. AL will turn their eyes towards the Baron and BLG. Are you going to fight this? Base one and Knight stepping in. Elk there as well, but it looks like BLG will give up the Ghost, take the Drake, lose the Baron.
Exactly. You know they're not going to fight it because Bin is on that dragon, soloing it down. They do not get soul, but at least they deny soul. Explosive engage there, finds the Renata, and now the question is, can you hold the line here against the Baron buff?
Hope's ultimate comes off cooldown very quickly, and they're already making their way towards that top tower. AL with the Baron at their backs. Shanks going to answer mid-wave. This tower is not long for this world. An inhibitor soon to follow.
BLG just gonna funnel down mid, try and keep that wave as far away as possible. Shanks has the teleport, but isn't.
And we saw how fast that top lane inhibitor tower went down. Bin is on the side, but this tower is getting quite low.
3 autos and it's down to half HP. The Chain of Corruption, a whisker away from finding Hope. He does, of course, still have that spell shield and the Mikhails. Flandre takes the tier 2 on the bottom side. BLG unable really to defend as Hope using the Bloodthirster shield will just tank up the tower. BLG not pulling the trigger yet. Have lost an inhibitor tower in mid. Flandre with double cannon minions down towards the bottom side. Bin almost assassinated. The hostile takeover coming out as well as Tarzan dashes in. The pull back onto base one, not the target AR would want, but with Tibbers joining the party, anyone's legend see the win in their eyes.
BLG, they have to get back to base. They need to regenerate the health bars. The Nexus towers are all that stand left as the base falls apart. Bin goes in.
Looks for Tarzan, but Tarzan goes in with a cease and desist. There's still a Guardian Angel here for Bin, but the bailout will bring it back first. On ignited and will fall to Flandre. Knight pops the stopwatch, but might just go pop afterwards. Bin dashing up towards the top side. Knight able to escape for now, but base one is sacrificing himself for his mid laner. Elk gonna go to the GA under the tower, and I don't think there's an Angel listening as Elk is mown down. The LPL is conquered. The LCK awaits. Anyone's legend claim the